Good morning, IME100 Labs. We're back in the manufacturing lab doing a video for Manufacturing Monday. And by the way, it's 5th week and it's May the 4th be with you. So today we're going to do an exciting project. We're going to actually CNC router a coaster out that we've already designed up. So when we have our Baltic birch plywood, we're 7 inches in the X direction, 14 inches in the Y direction, and 0.2 in the Z direction. We're going to kind of look our board over. We might want to check to see how flat it is against the table. And
0.25.
0.25 in the Z.
Nope, not 0.2.
Oh, okay. And then we're going to decide what side we're going to have up. And then we're going to put some tape similar to our sample on the back side of it. We don't want to overlap the ends and we don't want to overlap the edges. Also, when you come in to do this, you're going to want to make sure you have your post-process file on your flash drive, not in a folder. And you're also going to need your eye protection and ear protection. My ear protection is actually over at the router that I'll use in a minute. So usually what we do at this point, you'll have 2 or 3 in a team. We'll have one person do the board and the other person will check your thumb drive, which we'll do in a minute. So I'm going to take this tape out, line it up. Once I get it on, I'm going to press it down firmly, bring it out, cut the end of it off, and then do the same thing with the other side. And now our board's ready to go in the fixture. So we're just going to take this right over to the Laguna. And I'm just going to place the board here for now. And I want to go ahead and check my thumb drive and make sure the handheld controller is going to recognize it. So with our handheld controller, we have our thumb drive. We're going to put it right in the top of here in our USB port. This plugs in, and this one actually has a light on so you can see it lights up. So at this point, to find the file on our flash drive, we're going to hit the Run, Pause, Delete button, and it's going to come up with highlighted UDisk files. So we're going to hit the green OK Origin button, and then that will come up with some files. If it does not recognize your flash drive at this point, it will say that there's nothing on this disk. So I'm going to use the X minus down arrow key and find the file that I've labeled here, and I've also written that on my setup sheet. This is something that you would have had checked over to make sure your XYZ is okay and it has your tools on it that you're going to use. So at this point, my file is there, it's ready to use. I'm going to hang this up down here. I'm going to peel the back off the tape. If you noticed, we're missing something on our Laguna. We've taken the dust port off it so that you can actually watch the router do its thing. Route the wood. I'm going to center this the best I can and then push down firm into our fixture. And then we'll throw this tape away for right now. I'm just going to stick it in my pocket. So the dust collector would go up over this spindle, and we'd have our vacuum hose hook into here, and this brush system would help collect the dust and the chips as we ran the machine. But for viewing purposes, we're not going to use that right now. If you watch many CNC videos, usually they take that off. So I'm going to grab my hearing protection. We're not going to run the dust collector, which we would start up here soon. So I got my safety glasses, my ear protection. My board is put down firm. One thing we want to check that we've already done is just double check our part origin, which should be center of stock, or XY0. So on our handheld controller, if we hit the origin button, it's going to ask us, do you really want to go to the origin? And I'm going to go ahead and push OK again. And that goes to XY0. We've already, like we did in the other video, we've already done our Z0 on our part. So our Z0 for the tip of our 1/8" tool matches the bottom of the stock or the top of the tape in our touch-off area, which are in the same plane. So at this point, according to my setup sheet, we have the right tool. This is our 46200 1/8" flat end router bit. So because I went back to the origin, I'm going to have to go back to run, pause, delete, OK at the UDISC file, and then arrow down to my file name. And then now we're ready to run. So I'm going to go ahead and put my hearing protection on. One thing to note is that when we're running our program, if it does something we don't want it to do, we're going to hit this stop cancel button. And at that point, we'll either discard our file or we'll save the break and go back to that. So here we go. Our router is spinning up to 18,000 RPMs. Once it gets to that speed, it will start the file and start moving in the direction and start doing a helical down to our bottom of our pocket, and then it'll do our tool path. One thing to note is there's this bottom line that gives us actually a time reference. It'll scroll through some numbers and it will come up with a speed. Then it will show your file name, and then it will actually give a runtime, which right now is at 48 seconds. I want to mention is we want to keep this in hand while this is running in case we need to hit the stop cancel button. Completes the pocket, so now we're going into the contour with tabs. total run time was 8 minutes and 21 seconds. At this point, we're going to let the spindle come to a complete stop, and then we'll use our right-hand rule, our XYZ, and run this in the X minus. Back off over the coaster, and then we'll do some cleanup. Alright, so when the screen is back to where it says continue on the bottom, we can take out our flash drive and grab our dust collector and start from the outside and work our way in. Removal tool here and get up underneath the tape and pry this up, and tape likes to stick. Here we go, and there's our completed project. And then in our next segment we'll talk about cutting this out and finishing it.